Americans can no longer keep up with the cost of living and they're starting to use their homes as piggy banks. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. So here we go again. Let's step back on the real estate merry-go-round. Around and around we go. Next stop, people using their homes as piggy banks. That sounds familiar, right? You know, in the last 2008 crisis, which was the biggest crash on record up before the Great Depression, it was the only other one that came close. And here we are again, a bigger bubble than even 2008 and the Great Depression. That should be scary. That should have your full and undivided attention. Let me repeat. The bubble that you're currently living in today, the crisis bubble, the stimulus bubble, is bigger than 2008. It's bigger than the Great Depression. Overnight appreciation to never seen before highs. Market manipulation. A casino climate. For all intents and purposes, way too much money dumped in to the engine of the economy, acting as nitroglycerin with that overnight appreciation. It was unsustainable. It stopped. It's over. The music has stopped playing. The party is in fact over. We all know that. We all know that. But we got to continue to read between the lines and look between the economic cracks and keep our thumb on the pulse of this thing, because we don't want to be a deer in the headlights if or when this thing actually plays out. And it's typically never been if, it's always been when, because throughout recorded history, we've always had a boom bust cycle. And we just went through the biggest boom cycle in recorded history. So I don't know, has my full and undivided attention. But it's fun for me because I work in real estate, love real estate, own real estate, all things real estate, enjoy, love people too. So I win no matter what. And I protect people. I've talked to countless subscribers. I've helped you guys buy and sell real estate for years now. Thank you. It's been my honor and privilege. So many great people here at the channel. If you're new, get subscribed, jump into the comments. Thank you to all the people that continue to support me and my work. Insanity. I had no idea that I would end up in this position. But it's right in my wheelhouse because I love to entertain, I love to educate, and I love to inform. And that's what we get to do here. So it's been my honor and privilege. I feel like it's just one of my God-given missions in life is to come to you and do my best to report in my brand of reporting around the economy and the housing market, because they're so closely tied together. But, you know, it's funny for me because I see the narratives now changing, right? But during the run-ups, it was just every real estate website, CEO, builder,
oh, we projected earnings. It's red hot.
All rainbows, sunshine, unicorns, just turning a blind eye to any of the warning signs, and mainstream media continuing to feed those narratives, putting even more upward pressure on the housing market with more FOMO. I mean, insanity. The FOMO, the fear of missing out, was something like, I don't even like to pay full price. I don't want my clients paying full price on properties. I'm here to negotiate deals. Over asking price? Head spinning. It was like living in an episode of The Twilight Zone and then seeing agents like, this is normal. There's no crash risk here. This time is different than 2008. You're right. It is different. This time is worse. Bigger bubble, bigger potential, a blowback. Now, I'm not cheering for a crash, but I just understand the crash risk is high, my friends. And today we're going to take a look at what's going on. You know, every once in a while, I get tons of emails, of course. But I saw one that caught my eye, and, you know, it's basically the writing on the wall. It's where Americans are at now. Now, a lot of us saw huge run-ups in our real estate, right? Unrealized wealth. Really, it's just wealth on paper, as it should be. You should never let that unrealized wealth dictate how you're going to live your life. Honey, our house is worth so much money. Maybe we should finally take that European vacation. No! Do not do that. There's a saying that I try to live by. If you can't afford to buy 5 of them, all cash, if you can't buy 5 European vacations, the one you want to take, then you shouldn't buy one. You need to make sure that you have plenty of cash reserves. And unfortunately, people tapped out getting into homes during the crisis. They tapped themselves. They exhausted their savings. They went above and beyond appraised values and overpaid for real estate and had to borrow money to do it. They're now house poor. And then if your house reverses course, which a lot of them are at this point, insult to injury. Insane. And then they're hearing things like, well, don't worry, real estate always comes back. Well, the last crash, this bubble's bigger than the last bubble, took over 15 years in a crisis and a stimulus era to dig our way all the way out and create what we're in now. So you'd have to hope for that again. And I wouldn't hold my breath for that. And it's still going to be no fun dragging something along for 10, 15, 5, 1 year of an upside down house is no fun to look at. So what's going on now? Well, I'm about to tell you. Now you have financial institutions, mortgage companies that are still around at the moment. They're not selling loans anymore, right? Loan applications are now at an all-time never seen before low, like 75% below peak. It's in the toilet. Loan applications are done. The only people left out there are investors and cash buyers, and they're smart, listening to me, kicking the tires, shaking the trees, testing people with offers. Unless you go into one of these FOMO factories that have the model homes that you go to or through, and they're offering you a rate buy down. Well, they don't even offer. You got to know it. You got to go in there and ask, because they're not offering it up. But if you're smart, you go, okay, what's the best you can do on my monthly payment with including all the incentives, rate buy downs, add-ons, premium lots. I want it all. You show me that. But if you don't ask for it, they certainly ain't offering it up. But even then, you're buying at the top of the biggest bubble in world history. So it's like, is it worth it? Yeah, it can be, if your payment's within its rent range, which they're not going to tell you. That's why you need agent representation. You're walking in without an agent, and when using the sales office, they're double-ending the deal. They're representing the buyer, you, and the seller, the builder. You need your own agents, like going to court using the other side's attorney. You don't do that. Dumb. Stop doing that, you guys. Get a hold of an agent. Go to work with an agent. Contact me. I'll get you an agent. Just don't do that anymore. Don't do it, please. The reality is this. People are not keeping up with the rate of inflation. And these mortgage companies aren't writing new loans. So what are they going to do? Refinance. Use your home and that equity, that's if you've got some in there, as a piggy bank. And that's exactly what people are doing. Let's jump over, take a look at an email and see what's going on out in the industry now. Then we'll meet back here and wrap it up. Let's get started. Right, friends, buckle up, strap in, roll up your windows, and lock your doors. Mortgage companies now have an all-time low when writing mortgages. So now they want to access your home's equity. They want you to use your home as a piggy bank, and we all know how that turns out. People tried that in the last boom bust cycle. It was a disaster. And here you go. Borrow from your home's equity. What would unlocking cash from your home look like? Well, they make it sound like it's rainbows and sunshine, when in fact, it could come back and ruin you. Be very, very careful with these targeted ads. They could be very, very dangerous. Let's jump back to the studio and wrap this one up. All right, friends, welcome back. And there you go. So this is the challenge, my friends. These mortgage companies now are trying to get you to tap into your home's equity. And that's a recipe for disaster. And here's why. Because let's say you go ahead and contact them and say, hey, I was interested in pulling an equity line against my equity in my house. Sure, we're going to do an appraisal and see what it's worth. And then so you get now an equity line based on today's appraisal. But you're in a declining market. Even if it's flatlining or going up a tick, there's a good chance next week, next month, next year, at some point, it's no longer worth what you paid. And so they've lent you an equity line on that appraisal, and then now you can't pay that back because your house isn't worth what you paid. They've ate up all your equity, and you've paid an interest, a premium to obtain that. You used your house as a piggy bank. If you need, in my opinion, friends, if you need to use your house as a piggy bank, it's time to sell the house. If you can sell the house, get it sold, jump into a cracker box and hunker down with some cash reserves. Don't drag that depreciated asset or potentially depreciating asset because they were not going to loan on it if you have no equity in it. But if you have equity in the house and you're, well, let's just tap into some of the equity and we'll roll it into crypto or this thing or that thing or this speculative asset, it's not a good idea. Your job is to take your house and make sure your payment is within its rent range. If your cost to carry is under its rent range, I would much prefer you say, hey, honey, listen, let's do this. The house will rent for $2,000 a month. Our payment's $1,500. It can positive cash flow $500 a month. Maybe we should figure out somewhere that we can go hunker down and just turn this into income property and then start stacking cash. And then you get a hold of me and we start writing offers on new properties that pencil out. And we start basically leapfrogging from house to house, get them to pencil, get them to cash flow, move on and on. This company that I just showed you, they don't want you doing that. They're basically going to eventually own your house. They're going to come knocking. The chickens will come to roost when now that you've got no more equity line of credit and you basically tapped it all out, and you might still be on the hook to pay them what they lent on it through the means of an equity line of credit, and now they're leaning your property. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a real estate guy that wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understand the waters you're swimming in now. They're shark infested. Mortgage companies, welcome to the swimming pool. I'm sorry you're not writing new loans. You should have been more cautious out there. You thought this time was different. You thought somehow this bubble would continue to go up. It exceeded all forms of growth that were sustainable. Now you're reaching, trying to offer people equity lines because you know that people are in a lot of areas of the country sitting on equity, but they're one hiccup away from going upside down. This has way too much volatility tied to it. My job's to protect the American public, to raise economic awareness, to not let them use their homes as piggy banks, to in fact use their homes as income generating assets and not as an anchor. And that's why I'll be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to follow me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network, top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It would be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.